Good morning.
Welcome in Belgium, welcome in Bruges. Everybody has a device on his seat. Everybody has a map.
Yes.
And the card with the emergency number.
Yes.
Earphones.
Yes.
Let us try the device and the earphones. So, there's a red button. And by that red button, you can put the device on. And then on the little screen you see number 20. Okay? When you put the earphone in your ear and in the device, in one moment you have to hear me. And this moment is coming now. Hello everybody, I hope that you can hear me. We know.
What's the
Just press the red
Press.
button.
Oh, okay.
Please.
Oh, they're on. Okay.
Okay, and now
No,
you're
press it.
hearing me?
Yes.
Hard.
No, the red one.
32.
20? Yes, that's all right. Do you hear me? By the earphone?
Hold on.
Oh,
Do you hear me now? Okay.
The yellow one, I need to.
Oh, you need an earphone? Yeah, okay. No problem, we have more.
Because it's not on.
My name is Greet in Flemish. That's we are speaking Flemish or Dutch in this region, and but you can say Margaret. That will be all right. Let us have a look to our program for today. So we are leaving now the port at 8:50 or 8:57. Normally it would be 9, so we are 7 or 8 minutes. We have more on our program to visit Bruges. That will be a nice thing. So now we are in the harbor, and the name of this harbor is Zeebrugge. Brugge in English is Bruges, and Zee is sea, so you are in Bruges by the sea. I think that's clear. In half an hour we will drive to the city of Bruges. The city of Bruges, that's with a medieval center, and we will visit together this medieval center. Normally in half an hour we will be on the coach parking. That will be 9:30, and then we will have a walk during about nearly 2 hours. And we will see a lot of monuments, a lot of interesting buildings in the city. I will tell you something about the history of Bruges. And then finally we will arrive at the canals with the boat, and you will have a 30-minute boat trip on the canals of Bruges. When you are leaving that boat, we are going together to the meeting point, and the meeting point is on your maps. When you will open the map, in the middle there is a red dot, and that red dot is in Flemish on the Walplein, the square Wall, Wall Street in New York, but then Wall Square in Bruges. And then that's only a short walk of 10 minutes from the boat to this square. And from then on, normally it will be a quarter before 12 or something like that. You have something more than an hour, no, something less than an hour free time. And then we will meet again at the same place. We have a meeting point at the red point at 1 o'clock. Please, I ask you to be in time. And then we walk together again to the coach parking, where the coach driver, my driver is here, will pick us up, and we are going back to the ship. That's about the program. You have also a little card with an emergency number. That's not my number, but the number of the organization that is organizing all those excursions. If you have a real problem, if you are lost in Bruges, please call them and they will find a solution for you. They will contact me or another guide or another driver to make arrangements that you can come back or whatever you need, they will help you. So please, that contact number is important. Put it in your pocket, and anyway, you can call them, or you can ask somebody else to call them. That's always possible. If your phone is not working, I don't know what, you can ask anybody to call them and to explain your problem. A lot of people in Bruges are speaking English, but our language normally is Dutch or Flemish. So if there is somebody who can't speak English, please make a choice to another one. Most of them will speak English. Okay, that's practical things. Another thing is the safety on the boat. The boats for the boat trip in Bruges are low open boats, so you have to sit down in those boats and no standing up, please, because you will go underneath very low bridges, and it would be dangerous when you will stand up. So anyway, you have to respect safety rules. That's the same thing when we are walking in the town. We are walking in a real town where real cars and real people, real cars are driving and real people are living. So on the road, on the street, please, you cannot walk where the cars are. That's not allowed. Bruges is a very small town and a lot of bikers will be there. So anyway, the bikers can pass, so that's important that you let them pass. And that's all the rules, and now we are going for the history of the region. Away from the sea, but we have to go back more than 1,000 years ago, in the 10th century, the years 900, etc. And this region, this was a wet region with a lot of inundations of the sea. The harbor here was built in the beginning of the 20th century, so that's only a little bit more than 100 years, and it was a total artificial coastal harbor. But when we are going 1,000 years back, then this region will be very wet with a lot of inundations here in this region. And we are going now to Bruges, and in that time when you're going to the place where is now Bruges, this was the first safe and dry place. It was a dune, sand dune, and it was the first safe place. There were people who are living in that wet part of the country, but those people were sheep farmers, because this was a nice region to keep sheep. So from time to time in this region, the Normans or the Vikings were coming here, and they were taking from those farmers everything they had, and they were not happy. By that, of course, maybe they were murdered. It was not a fine place to live at that moment. And finally, the King of France, certain Charles, at that moment, he was not happy because he was the chief of this region. And he sent his son-in-law and his daughter, his son-in-law, that was Baldwin, his daughter was Judith, with a group of soldiers to this region. And then when they come here, as you can see in the harbor, this harbor is a car harbor. You can see a big boat, for instance, at your left side, that's a Korean from Korea, and you see that a lot of cars are leaving or coming on, they are coming on the ship, and maybe all the cars produced in Europe were going by the harbor here to the rest of the world, and on the other hand, a lot of cars produced in other countries, for instance in Korea or in other countries, And they coming here and they were distributed in the harbor. As you can see, a lot of cars, 4 million cars every year. So that's a lot. It's the most important car harbor of the world. Going in and going out. Now we are going back to history, to our Baldwin. He arrives here with his unit, with his soldiers, and he will defend the region against those Normans, and he will build a fortress on that dune near the sea. And there was a kind of a river at that time, and the river gives access to the sea, but the Normans can come to this place too by this river. So this was good for commercial reasons. On the other hand, you have easy access of the enemy also. Anyway, he has built his fortress. He was the first Count of Flanders. That was what the King of France said to Baldwin. And then you have many years of Counts of Flanders. And in that time, people were coming to this place because it was a safe place, it was dry, they have protection, and they are living around that fortress, and that becomes a town. From the 12th century, Bruges was a real town, and they built the first wall around the town in the 12th century. And that was an important town, and the town has a harbor in the center of the city itself. And times go on, and Counts of Flanders, more Counts of Flanders were following one after the other. And in the 14th century, again, the city was bigger and bigger. And in the 14th century, at the end of the 14th century, they will build another wall, and the city was bigger than before. And this second wall, we will see it. There were two walls around the city. One of them is still existing, so we will see it. And then after that, we are going on. The last Countess of Flanders will die. She was married to Duke of Burgundy, and after that time, and now we are speaking of the 15th and the 16th century, it were the Dukes of Burgundy. They have a big country. It was not only Flanders, but also Burgundy in France of today, and other parts of now Belgium, Holland, France. One big country, important country in the world, in Europe at that time, because France and England, Britain, were fighting in their 100 Years' War, and Burgundy and Flanders were a very good region at that time to live, with commercial, important commercial activities, and so on and so on. But in that time, ships are becoming bigger. On the other hand, in this region they were building dikes, and with those dikes the region will become drier and drier and become a very important agriculture region, and so it is today. But on the other hand, the river also was drier and drier. It becomes a small river, and the boats were bigger, so Bruges cannot stay anymore a harbor. And then at the end of the 15th, beginning of the 16th century, there was no harbor anymore in the center of Bruges, and Bruges became a very poor city and a very poor region. Why was it that rich before? Because they were importing wool from Scotland and from Spain. They made a Flemish cloth, a woolen cloth that was very famous at that time. They exported to everywhere in Europe, and so this region has a certain prosperity, and in the 15th, 16th century that was away. No more richness in this region, and Bruges become a very poor city in a very poor region. And that stays on until the 19th century. In the 19th century, people arrived in this region from England for the grand tour in Europe, from France, the first tourists, and people in Bruges realized they have a nice and rich patrimonium. They started restorations, they start to build new buildings in a style of before, the neo-Gothic style, before it was the Gothic style, and Bruges became very, very famous on a touristical plan. So that was nice because it was otherwise a rich city, and nowadays Bruges is it's a small city. 120,000 people are living in Bruges, only 20,000 in the ancient center of Bruges, but now it's a rather rich city in Belgium. It's a nice city to live, it's a very comfortable city to live, and I'm very proud that I can walk with you in that city and can show you a lot of buildings from the medieval times. They were restored in the 19th and maybe again, and sometimes again in the 20th century. And on the other hand, since about 20 years, we are Patrimonium of UNESCO. So the ancient city of Bruges is Patrimonium of UNESCO, and so are a lot of monuments. For instance, the Béguinage. We will not visit it itself, we will pass by. And in 1998, all the Béguinage in Flanders were also Patrimonium of UNESCO. Another important thing in the year 2002, Bruges was cultural capital of Europe, and at that time they have built a new concert hall, and I will show it to you, the new concert hall. So everything goes fine. We have every year a lot of tourists, and you will see it. But now we are arriving rather early in Bruges, and that will be fine because you can see comfortable a lot of monuments. Everything is arranged for you. You will go on the boat, you have no waiting time because everything is arranged for you. So it is a very fine way to visit the city. And when there is your free time at about 11 and I don't know exactly so then everything is opened and you can buy some chocolate or you can buy other things you like in Bruges. You can drink something, you can eat something. So you will, I'm sure that you will enjoy yourself in this beautiful city. As you can see, we are this is industrial area. We are leaving the harbor and we are going to the city of Bruges. But of course, in this region, we are working. We need to have some money, and so we have some industrial activities, but always clean activities. They are not polluting the air, and that is important for all those cars, that the air is clean. What you can see is the turbines. They are making electricity, of course, and that is also a clean way to produce electricity. There is a canal from the harbor to the city, and this canal is at our left side on this moment, and so we will arrive in a quarter of an hour. We will be in Bruges. Something more, if you have your free time and you have any question about what you want to do, what you want to see, I will say something during our walk, but please ask me. I live in Bruges, I'm a guide in Bruges, and I'm sure I can help you with your needs. The city, and in a moment we will see the towers of the city, and those towers, there are 3 of them, and we will see the Our Lady Church, that is the highest tower in the city of Bruges, 123 meters, and then we have 2 other important towers, and that's the Belfry Tower and the Tower of the Saint Saviour Church. So now in front of me I see one tower, and that's the Our Lady Church, And then on the left side I see also the Belfry Tower, and I suppose that in a moment we will see also the Saint Saviour Tower. But we will arrive in a moment in the old city of Bruges, and you will see a mold, and then we will arrive in the city itself. Churches, and we will see the Our Lady Church, and we will pass by the Saint Saviour. We will not pass by, and the Belfry we will see also. So Bruges and Belgium is the Catholic religion was always the most important. I told you something about the Dukes of Burgundy. So when we are talking history, the Dukes of Burgundy were very important, and when the last Duchess of Burgundy died, she was married to a man, and his name was Maximilian of Austria. And Maximilian of Austria and Marie de Burgundy were the grandparents of the Emperor Charles, who became a very important emperor for Spain, and Flanders on a certain moment was part of Spain on the moment that Columbus was in the Americas. So this country, Spain, was one of the most important at that moment. It was very important, and Flanders was a part of this big country in the world. Maximilian of Austria is an important person, and I will talk about him afterwards, and that will be because he has done some things, and that was very important for Bruges, because and had something to do. You will see some swans, and I will explain it afterwards why this person is that important. Ik ga de volgende keer toch vragen om een andere weg. Ik vind langs de A11 gemakkelijker, en ik heb daar makkelijker veel meer te vertellen. At the way, it's not real a motorway, but we are around Bruges now, and at your left side you see a canal or a mold, and it is very important. It was a part of the second wall in Bruges, as I told you, 14th century. It was an important wall. Here you cannot see anymore something about the wall. En nu ga je langs tegen de poort.
Ja.
Okay. But we will see one of the 4 gates that are important for Bruges, built at the end of the 14th century. It will be on your right side in a moment. Duurt ook veel langer. Ik was er anders al geweest. Het is hier altijd veel verkeer aan deze huizen. Is het, hè? Nee, dat weet ik, want het is hier, ja. Het is hier altijd. Nu ja, het is mij. Ik kom hier alle dagen 2-3 keer. Ik woon doen hier juist aan de andere kant van deze brug. Met de fiets is te doen als de brug niet open staat. Dat is ook nog een risico dat we liepen, dat die brug open staat.
Dat is ook waar.
Music is.
En hier zijn werken aan deze poort. In a moment you will see the Donkey Gate. So this gate was built at the end of the 14th century, and you have to know that in that time and until the beginning of the until the beginning of the 19th century, 1800 and so on, that time all those gates will close during the night. So it was during centuries and centuries not possible to come in or out the city during the night. So in the city, when you're going to drink a beer, for instance, in a cafe, this was more expensive than outside the city. So people are going in the evening outside the city, drinking beer. They cannot enter anymore. At 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, the gates were opening again, and then they can enter again. So they passed their nights in the cafes outside to come in again. I don't know in which situation, again in the morning. And that was because the tax on beer and on drinks was more expensive more expensive inside the city than outside. The Donkey Gate at your right side now. And now we are really inside the city, inside the ancient city. At your left side, the ancient city, and I suppose you can see already those swans. Yes, I see them. And I will explain you what's the link between Maximilian of Austria and those swans. But we have some time and we will see more swans afterwards, and I will tell it to you. At your left side you see some houses in a nice ancient style. They were built in that period of the beginning of the end 19th, beginning of the 20th century, when the people in Bruges were realizing they have a very important patrimonium, a very important city, and when they are building new houses at that time, they prefer to build it in a style of before. So you see, for instance, at the left side, at the corner, you see a nice house. It's restored a few years ago, and this is a typical new style about 100 years, 120 years ago. And there are some houses more in this new Gothic style. At your left side you can see that. You see also the entrance, and we are Patrimonium of UNESCO. More houses at your left side in that famous neo-Gothic style. We zijn allemaal terugweg, dus we gaan precies dat. Die is tegelijkertijd vertrokken met ons. In Bruges to shop, to eat, to follow the locals. So what are you doing today? You follow a local. I'm a real local in Bruges. And then in a moment we will go underneath the tunnel, and in front of you and at your left side you will see the new concert hall that was built in 2002 when Bruges was cultural capital of Europe. It's everything in Bruges is built in bricks, and this concert hall, a very modern architectural building, is also built in a red color, the same color of the bricks. There are not bricks, and the vertical lines are typical of the Gothic style. It's a very nice concert hall, more than 1,000 places. And now we are in a tunnel, left and right, a big parking, also 1,000 and 1,500 places. During the weekends they are occupied, and there are other parkings in the city, not that big, but we are receiving a lot of tourists in the weekends and in the week time of course too. But when they are coming by car, that will be a problem, because parking your car, that's not that evident. But in a moment we will pass at your right side by the railway station, and that's a more comfortable way to come to the city of Bruges. By train you can go to Brussels in less than an hour, and in Brussels you have connection to all the important places in Europe. In Brussels you can go to Amsterdam, you can go to Paris, you can go to London. So from here less than an hour to Brussels, and then by high-speed train to London, Paris, Amsterdam, to Germany, and you will come there in a very comfortable way. And on the other hand, you can go from Britain, for instance, to Brussels, and then in less than an hour to Bruges. So going by train, if you come again and you will not come by ship, please come by train. That's the most comfortable way to come here. Right side you will see the railway station, and you are very near to the city center. In a moment we will be on the coach parking. Please don't let something on the coach, because the coach will go back to the harbor and take other people to come to Bruges, or I don't know, yes, they are coming to Bruges too. And then when the coach come back, then they will pick us on the coach parking. So don't let any luggage or personal belongings in the coach. So we are arriving now at the coach parking, and then we are going outside and we will begin our walk. Okay?
Yay.
Please turn your device on, and I will turn to the device. I set the microphone on off, and we will begin in a moment our walk in Bruges. Okay?
Thank you. Excuse me,
Yeah.
my device is on the wrong channel.
I will change it.
Thank you.
So this is a significant bridge. The Red Bridge is where the people meet. People are walking and running here. The Red Bridge. There's another place here. This is the meeting point or bus park. So we are here still in Belgium, in Bruges, city of Bruges. We're gonna go fast because people are coming here. You can see the beautiful view of this bridge. That's the river. So this is also the side of the river. We're gonna stop here. I don't know where we're going. This is the left side and the other side. Turn around. This is our group here.
1 year old, but the wall you can see, it's an old wall. It has been restored, of course, many times. Very old wall, and now you're really inside in the city. Please stay here at the left side. As you can see at the right side, that's the for the bikers. So don't go there. Bikers don't like to, they have to pass here. Maybe everybody is working now, and we are going in the city itself. So this dune, where the first Count of Flanders, Baldwin, was arriving in the 10th century, was along a river. And the river came and come from the inside, and we will pass it in a moment. At your left side, you will see the river coming from the inside of the country, not that far away, a couple of kilometers or miles, and then it arrives here in the city of Bruges. And man built at the arriving of the river in the city of Bruges a kind of lake, and we will see this lake in a moment, and the name of this lake is the Lake of Love. Why the Lake of Love? That's a whole history. It is a translation error. As I told you, in the 19th century, the first tourists arrived here in Bruges, and at that time they will make a translation of names of squares, streets, buildings, and so on, and also of this lake. So this lake is on your right side. The river enters in the city. You see it on your left side. And in my language, the Lake of Love is, the name is Minnewater. Minnewater, when I make the translation, water, lake, we can understand, water, lake, but minne. The signification of minne in my language has two explanations. The first one is something in common of everybody. That's the first possibility. And the second one is a verb. Minnen means to make love. So in the 19th century, they made Antwerp there, and they called this lake the Lake of Love, and it means in fact a lake of everybody. But that's all right, eh? Lake of Love, very romantic. You're now on a romantic tour in Bruges. And for instance, in the winter time, in February, when it's St. Valentine, then people, Bruges, very romantic city. As you can see, this is a very nice place in Bruges. And the name is Lake of Love. And as you can see at the left side, you see the road, you see the bridge, and the river is coming from inside the country and coming here and going inside the city. The tower you see here at your left side is a tower that was built at the end of the 14th century. It was a munition tower to defend the city. It was important to defend the city against enemies, and the munition for the cannons was in that tower. No problem, there is no more anymore in nowadays. Eh? And so we are continuing our walk and going to the right side. We are continuing our walk, and you see a nice view on that Lake of Love. And on the other side of the Lake of Love, you can see a big building, a kind of palace. And that palace was built in the 20th century. as I explained already on the coach, in the beginning of the 20th century, people were building in a neo-Gothic style, so the most important style in medieval time was the Gothic style, and they will build again in a neo-Gothic style. Now it's a kind of restaurant with a terrace, very nice place when it's a little bit more sunny, but the sun will arrive in a moment. It will be alright, and you can sit there and drink a coffee or eat something, a very, very nice place. And that's typical for the Gothic style in Bruges and in Flanders. This is the Flemish Gothic style. We don't have stone here, and in the medieval times it was not possible to import stone from far away. There is no river that comes from the places where you can find stone until Bruges, so they have to build in bricks, and so they did. So the typical color of a lot of buildings is that red color that you can see at your left side and also on your right side. And the Gothic style had a lot of decorations normally, and they are made in stone. That was not possible here, so they made special bricks in a special form, and by those bricks they make decorations above the windows, in the chimneys and so on. And this is a very typical thing about the medieval Gothic style and the neo-Gothic style of later on. So please take care. There are cables on the street, and you will see immediately at your left side the big hospital, the hospital that was built in the beginning of the 20th century. Nowadays it's a residence for elderly. So that's now on your left side, and you will see it in the street. I will continue here. Please come with me. They are not talking about So you can see here at your left side the big and you have on your right side you have this nice house, also in neo-Gothic style. And the first window at the right side, you see the date above 1892. So this was the house of the director of the hospital. So you see the hospital at your left side, you see the house of the director on your right side with the date 1892. And you can see everything is built in bricks, typical red color. It's typical for a lot of buildings here. And also that's very typical Flemish Gothic style, and all those decorations made in bricks, both windows and chimneys on your left side, on your right side. So that's very typical for this region. Everything from 13 is alright. We're going to Jerusalem to defend their religion, their Christian religion. And when those men go away, the women stays alone here, and then they enter in a beguinage. And the difference with a convent is that when a nun or a girl goes inside the convent, she becomes a nun for the rest of her life. But in the beguinage, you can come inside to live as a beguine, as we say, but you can leave it again when your husband comes again from this crusade. You can leave it again. When the husband dies in Jerusalem on the road, and you are very, very sure that he died, then you can leave also and marry again. But that was the reason the men who are going to Jerusalem, they let their wives here in the beguinage, they stay in the beguinage all together, a lot of women with their own church, no men allowed, even the priest was not allowed to during the night, very well protected at that time, you know, it was important. And so they live here in the beguinage. So you can see the ancient houses, everything built in brick, everything in that same, nearly same red color. You see the difference between older and newer, but that's the beguinage. Children were until a certain age, yes, until a certain age, of course, yeah. That's true. So somebody asked if children were allowed. Yes, they were allowed until a certain age, of course.
And then
all children were allowed.
and the boys would then go to the
Yes, you have, yeah, of course. At your right side, you see a small house, and that's the house of the locker. There was in medieval times, there was a lock on this place. That was very important to stay that the level of the water inside the city was always the same. The level of the water may go up, no may down. So this lock was important, and the locker's house was built on it. And so the locker was living here, and then now there's no lock. The lock is outside the city and on this moment. But in the beginning of the 20th century, they made the restoration of this small house. And for instance, the little towers on both sides are built at that time. And we are speaking now of an artistic restoration. So that was to make an accent on that Gothic style. So that's really 14th century. Continuing. Okay? So the smell was not that good at that time. And then in the 70s they made some activities to clean the water up. Now it's clean water. There's no smell of the water, but it's important that there is enough oxygen in the water, and that's the reason all those things. So you will be there on a boat later on. You will see also now at your left side on the water a lot of swans, and I promised you to tell the story about Maximilian of Austria, and I will do it now. So Maximilian of Austria, he was the husband of the latest Countess of Burgundy, and Marie de Bourgogne had an accident. She died very young. She was only 30 and she died. Maximilian of Austria, he was an Habsburg emperor, and he wanted to go on war. Going on war, that's a lot of money. So he asked the people of Bruges to pay more money for this war. They didn't agree with him. They put him in prison on the marketplace. I will indicate later on where it was. And at that time, since the people of Bruges didn't agree with him, they take a man who was working in service with
No, go over there. Babam.
Now we have about 60, until now, we have about 60 swans on the water of Bruges, and it is the city of Bruges who will see for the swans and so on and so on. For instance, when there is a flu of the birds, you have heard about it, then you have to put all the birds inside, and that's what's happened 2 years ago, I suppose. Then all those swans and other birds were put inside. A little further on you see a bridge and the entrance of the beguinage. And in front of you, you see a big house with a big chimney. That's the brewery of one of the most famous beers of Bruges. And the name is the Brugse Zot, the pool of Bruges. Okay, we continue. Then you see a map, so if you are lost, again a map at your right side, and all those swans, and you see already young swans, so we had a lot of youngs this year. Last year they were put inside, we have no youngs, but now we have a lot of them. They are a little more brown on this time. There were many nests here, 2 or 3 nests were here, and in other places too. They protect them for the public, that nobody can look inside. But it was successful. And now you recognize immediately the neo-Gothic style at your right side. Also, this is a building of the last years of the 19th century. Always bricks, typical color, and all those decorations on above the windows. And this was a very, very religious country, so you have a lot of statues. Mary and I don't know who is the other one, but, and you can see the date, 1857, 19th century, and in this neo-Gothic style. So this was a house, a big house for children. How do you say it in English? Sit down. Okay.
Dan moeten we alle handen vernieuwen. Maar dat
You can walk to Bruges by guide, as you do now, but you can visit it also with a horse and another kind of coach.